All right, hello and happy Friday. We have our last session of the week, which is our lower body strength and conditioning. So we're going to get you going with a warm-up. No equipment needed in this warm-up. Before our strength exercises and our conditioning work, we're going to need some stuff. Dumbbells, bands, and then also your towel and or slider to be used to slide on the floor. That is it. And your body. Put shoes on because we're going to be jumping around at the beginning and at the end of our session today. So let's start you off at the end of the mat, hip width apart with some of our walkouts. We're going to walk down to the bottom. When we get down here, nothing. We're just going to walk back up to the top, reaching our arms up, back down we go, doing 5 of these total, getting that opening stretch in the back of the legs. Feels so nice this time in the day of our lives. We'll do 5 of these. Again, straight legs but soft knees. 5 total. There we are. Arms go up at the top, but that is it. Down, and you go back down. 5 of those. As we come to the end of our 5, once you walk back up from that last one, reach your arms up. You can bring them down by your sides. We're going to keep that hip width stance in our feet and hinge our hips back while sending our arms over our head. Same feeling in the back of the legs. We're going for that stretching, opening feeling. Again, not forcing anything. If it's too much stretch, we'll just bend the knees a little bit. Arms reach out 90 degrees as we come up, and then overhead straight arms as we go down. We're doing 10 of these total. Opening everything up in the back of the hips, back of the legs. There we go. Hinging the hips. So we're trying really hard to push the hips back. Pull them forward rather than just sort of thinking about bending down. So we'll go through 10. Once we're done 10, you're going to want to make sure you have some space in front of you, which you probably do at the end of your mat. We're going to widen up our feet a little bit into a squat stance. Sitting down into the squat, arms can come in front of us, and then one leg is going to kick up. And then we squat, and then we kick up. And then other leg alternating right and left. By this point, we should be feeling a little bit looser in the back of the legs, but this kick is really going to depend on how tight or loose you're feeling in terms of how high you're getting your leg. Some of us might be down here, and that's okay, but the goal is to keep the legs straight. So we'll just see how we can kick it. Maybe as we go through our 10 reps total, we're able to get it up a little bit higher. So we'll finish up the last couple of those ones, and then let me check my list. Yes, the next one's going to be a lunge version. So we're going to turn around so that we now have arms down by our sides, back into a lunge, turning in once to the knee, reset, standing. That's 1. We'll alternate. Other side, that's 2. 10 reps total. 5 on each side. Let's get it. So we're trying to really separate these two. Lunge, turn, reset, and stand. Lots of points in that one there. There you go. So nice straight arms at the bottom of the lunge. 10. We've done that one. We are going to head down onto the floor, laying on our back for these last 2 of our warm-up. So, bridging position. We're going to start off with walking our feet close together so they're almost touching. Knees are close. Lower back is being pushed down into the floor so you can feel your core working before we even do anything. Now we're going to lift up our hips to the very top. When we get here, one leg lifts up, and then we're going to put it down, stabilize our hips so that they do not move. Other leg comes up. 20 reps total, 10 on each side because we are alternating right side, left side, trying the whole time to keep the hips in this lifted, strong bridge position without having them fall or without having them tilt as we switch right and left. There we go. So we'll go through 20 of these. Waken up the glutes. We're going to feel this through the back of the hips, maybe in your core as well, as that is working as we lift our right leg, left leg, alternating legs. So we'll go through 20. And then do not get too excited about standing up because we have one more down here, which is all about our core. So we're going to lift up our legs once we're finished our 20 reps, lift up our arms, take the palm and the opposite top of the knee, push those two together, and then we will lower down one side, opposite arm and leg, 10 reps over here, and then we're going to switch back to the other side, 10 reps over there, and we will do this 2 times total. So I'm keeping the knee bent here because it's very important we keep our lower back down. And some of us might find that if we straighten out our leg, we might lose that contact with our back. So you can find anywhere between having a bent leg and a straight leg where we're feeling work in our core, but we're still able to keep that back down. So again, 10 on one side, then we switch, and then we'll do 10 on this other side here. Try to exhale as you send that arm and leg down. Inhale as you bring it back up. 10 and 10, and then I would like you to do that one more time. Because if you weren't feeling your core already, you're going to be feeling it a lot in this next set here. So once you're finished this side, we'll go right back here on the second set. Because we have been doing, we already did one set, so we're already probably feeling quite active and engaged in our core. We might be able to straighten out the leg, maybe on the second set, but again, just work with what you're feeling and do not allow that lower back to come off the floor. All right, that one shall warm us up. There we go. It always looks so simple, and then it feels all up in there. So we're gonna do this again, both sides. We'll finish up our 10 and 10. Take your time. Don't rush through that one because that is the last one in our warm-up. We're going to move on to the first part of today's session, which we still do not need any equipment. We're going to kick it body weight for these first 3 movements that we're doing. And once you're done, you can stand up if you'd like to grab a little bit of water. Get yourself mentally prepared to start our first part of today's session, which is all about our power. We've been following a recent theme, doing a little conditioning sandwich. So we have a bit of conditioning work at the beginning, then we go into our strength exercises, and then we have a nice sweaty conditioning circuit at the end. So that is what's up for today as well. Although we're going to be switching up our first 3 movements that we're doing, but still following that same format, which was a 2-minute period of you to complete as many sets as you can of these at a time. Okay, so let's talk about this first one that we are doing, which is a variation of a squat jump, but rather than focusing on being powerful on the way up, we're going to try to control our landing phase. So we'll start off in this narrow position here. If you want to just watch me start, and then you can join in. I have not started the timer, so you're not on a timer yet. Narrow stance, we're going to pop ourselves out and catch in a squat, and then stand and step back into the narrow stance. So the most important part of this one is right here, where we try to catch and stick the landing in this 90-degree position, and then we stand, reset the feet, maybe take a couple deep breaths. We're going to do these consecutively through this 2 minutes, but again, you're kind of gauging your own rest on these ones, okay? And then do it again, and then step back up, or maybe you take a couple breaths. We'll think about that as we go through this first set. We're only doing 1 set of 2 minutes, and that is going to start in 10 seconds, okay? So get yourself ready for these, and set up for these. Again, narrow stance. We're going to pop out into that squat, starting in 3, 2, 1, and let's go. So arms are down by our sides, row out, arms come in front of us, and then we'll step back in, arms come back down. If you're low impact, you're going to step out into the squat and then step back in. And you can alternate what side you go to rather than jumping out and then stepping in. So again, we want to be powerful, and you'll feel, of course, as we're going through this 2 minutes, in which you have 1.5 minutes left of, that we're probably going to get a bit more tired. So again, if you need a little bit more rest as we go through these, take as much time as you need between your reps. The goal here is to be as controlled as possible at the bottom. So we don't want to go down and then not have a stop position. We want to find that landing at the bottom at that 90 degrees, working on catching that power that we've been practicing on the way up. So we're halfway through. If you weren't warm before, you will be after this next 45 seconds that you have left on this one. So we'll keep working through these, trying our best to keep our breath flowing. If you want to think about your breath, we're going to exhale on the way down. So we can lock that in here. Last 30 seconds of this one. There we go. Okay, so we'll get maybe about 5 more of these in. Good morning, legs. Starting to wake up the quads. There you go. So we'll go through a couple more. 10 seconds left. Awesome. There we are. 5, 4, 3, 2, last one, and time. Okay, very nice work. So that was our first one. We are done with it. The next one that we're going to do is a lateral bound. So we have the same intention for all of these, which is catching ourselves in these positions. So this next one here, our lateral bound, we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then take a couple deep breaths, reset, and we load up back again, and we go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we reset. So that's going to be our second one for, again, our 2-minute time period that we have on that one there. We're trying to do fast, explosive 4 reps, 2 times there and back. And then again, we want to reset before we keep going. So we're not just doing lateral bounds for 2 minutes. We want to have these specific start and stop times within our 2 minutes. Okay, are you ready? Because we are set in 3, 2, 1, and let's go. So same rules apply. If you do not jump, you're going to step, 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 and then reset rather than jumping. And we'll try to get those arms involved as well, 4 of them, and then we'll reset. So I want you to think about, as we go through this 2 minutes, trying to build up on your pace, build up on your power so that you end up doing these faster, more explosive, okay? So same thing with the rest. You gauge your own. We don't want you just doing unlimited amount of lateral bounds. We want an intentional 4 reps and then a reset in between those 4 before you do the next 4. There you go. Okay, so we're halfway through, 60 seconds left, my friends. And again, I will remind you that we are only doing this 1 round of 2 minutes, 1 set of them. So that's good news. Because anytime we have to be powerful, explosive, intense, we know it's always a lot more challenging than when you're not being asked to do that. 45 seconds left. There you go. Okay, so trying to get out of that bounding position faster. We'll try to work up our pace, getting those 4 done quickly, and then again, finding your breath, trying to calm yourself down a little bit before you do your next one, so that you have a stronger one, a stronger set. 20 seconds left, so we'll try to do 2 more sets of these in. Of lateral bounds. There you go. Okay, 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1, and time. Very nice. Okay, nice work. So we're back on 1 minute of rest right now. If you'd like to grab some water, because you're probably feeling a lot harder or a lot more gassed than you thought that you would. We're going to move on to our last power movement, which is going to be a variation of the single leg deadlift. What we're going to do is, yes, tapping into our balance, no weight involved. We're going to go into a single leg deadlift with our arms here, and then we'll come up and try to catch this position here. And then I'm going to switch, single leg deadlift, and then I come up to the top. So my arms, we got to get a little bit of coordination going here. There we go. And then we come up to the top. So this is going to be us for 2 minutes. We're alternating right side, left side. We're not necessarily going for a certain amount of reps, but we just want to think about taking time between each leg as we have a right side and a left side. So we'll take some time, try to lead ourselves up. And I'm going to press start on that timer. 1 minute is up in 3, 2, 1, and here we go. So again, we'll go opposite arm, opposite leg. We'll try to get the arms going with the legs. Going through our second side. Up to the top, 90 degrees at the knee, at the ankle, at the elbow here. And we're trying to get this going on both sides. Okay, so if the arms mess you up, which as you can probably see, they mess me up a little bit, you have to slow down and kind of think about it a bit. You don't have to just necessarily worry too much about the arms, but we are very worried about being powerful, catching this top point without, of course, wobbling and falling over, because balance is happening a lot in this one. So we'll just focus through and try to do these as strong as we can for 1 more minute. Okay, so again, power on the way up, trying to catch that top position. Okay, you'll feel probably some work happening in this standing leg. We're halfway through. 60 seconds left. There you go. So most of the time, all of the time rather, we do this exercise, our single leg deadlift, weighted, with weights in our hands, and we follow a normal tempo as we go up and down. In this one, I want you to be as fast as possible on the way up. So as we approach the end of these 2 minutes, in which you have 30 seconds left of, let's try to go for faster reps. Coming out of that deadlift, being stronger, catching that top position, more controlled. Let's get it. I know, easier said than done. 15 seconds left. There you go. And yes, the brain is working. Okay, 5 seconds here. 4, 3, 2, and time. Okay, very nice work. So you can grab yourself some water. Woohoo! Probably feeling nice and warm now. We are gonna move on and get you started on our strength stuff. So before we go into that, I want you feeling okay. So if you're feeling like your heart is beating out of your chest right now, we're just gonna take a minute or two to walk around, do a couple laps, grab some water. When you do that, I'm gonna start talking about our first 2 strength exercises. The first one that we're doing is similar actually to that single leg deadlift. We're gonna have weight in our hands, opposite foot's gonna be on the floor, and we're doing a staggered stance, single leg deadlift. So this one's really nice if you remember this. If not, I will remind you that no balance is involved. So we're gonna be essentially doing this exercise, but this foot's gonna stay on the floor as a little kickstand, and it's gonna give us that assistance for the balance that we don't have in our normal single leg deadlifts. We are gonna pair this one with a squat variation with a mini band. So you wanna keep this guy close. We're gonna start off with our staggered stance deadlifts. So you can get yourself into your narrow position in your feet right underneath your hips. We want soft knees, and then we're gonna take the ball of one foot and put it where the heel would be. So rather than right here, we're gonna be right here, lifting up that heel off the floor, shifting all the weight onto the standing flat-footed leg, soft knee, and then we'll hinge the hips back and pull them forward, focusing on that one leg only. So yes, that other foot is on the floor, but again, all it's doing is has a little bit of weight in it to assist each side. So you can start your going through 12 over here, and then we'll switch and we'll do 12 on the other side. We want to make sure, again, that foot is not too far back, like back here. It's just right beside the heel of that standing leg. 12 of them, and then we'll switch and we'll do 12 on this other side. So we're trying our best to move through the hips. We practice that hinging motion at the beginning in our warm-up. So that's what we're going for here, is trying to push the hips back and then pull the hips forward. So we'll do this on both sides. Yes, 12 and 12. Awesome. Okay. So I'll let you guys go through this one. And if you are using band, we have band looped around opposite foot. And then we can go through this with the band instead of dumbbells. We don't have them. Again, we're going to want to use this band for our second exercise. So if you have it, of course. If you don't, you're going to follow along without the band. But if you do, once you're finished your deadlifts, we're going to take this band and put it on around our heels, around our ankles. I'm going to grab onto both of my dumbbells and front load them up into this front loaded position. We're going to start standing a bit more narrow than our squat stance, and then we'll step out into the squat. This foot's going to come back in, and then my right one's going to go out. And then I come narrow, and then I step out into the squat. So we're counting all of these squats. We're doing 10 total. And again, we want to make sure we never come too close with the feet. We want to keep this hip width stance. We step out wider for the squat, and then hip width, and then wider for the squat. Alternating what side we go to. All right, let's do it. So we'll work through this one. Okay, so again, if you don't have dumbbells, you have the band. We're working through the step out squat. 10 reps total. So 10 squats. And then we are finished our first set. We're going to do it again. So we have 3 more rounds to make it 4 sets total. No rest in between. Okay, so once you're finished those step out squats, we're going back into our staggered stance, single leg deadlifts. So you can go right into those guys, setting up for your second set. 12 of them on each side. There you go. All right, let's do it. So again, nice and tall, want the soft knees, stepping that foot in, and here we go. Keeping those weights in nice and close to the legs, not allowing them to stray out, but rather we want to sort of drag them up and down as close as we can. And again, keep the weight all on that standing leg. So we shouldn't feel any work happening in this one, in our kickstand. It should all be in the hip of this standing one, the focused leg. There you go. Okay, so we've got 12 and 12. Awesome. Okay, so same thing on the other side. Working with the second side. So again, yes, no balance is involved, but we have to make sure in this one that we're keeping this a single leg focus. Sometimes it can be kind of easy to put weight on that kickstand leg, and that really does take away from what we're trying to go for in this one, which is that single leg work. So the balance. All right, so we'll work it on both sides. An option that I want to talk about on these squats, if you have more than one band, for example, if you're not using weights, or if you are using weights and you simply just want to make this exercise more challenging, because maybe it wasn't that hard just doing 10, if we take a second band and we put it on around the knees up here, okay, so if you only have one band, I want it around your heels, but if you have 2 and if you would like to challenge yourself, you can add that second band up here. And now when I step out, I'm going to have to work more through my hips and my legs to keep my knees from coming in. So it's going to give us a bit of a challenge, more of a challenge than if we don't have this second band on. Okay, so again, optional, because I know. And if you need a little something to make you feel that way, you have an extra band, you can put it around the knees. There you go. All right. So second set, and we have 2 more to go. Trying our best to limit our rest, okay? But I know you're gonna be feeling your legs, your glutes. We'll try to just keep working through this, knowing that, feeling that it's getting harder as you go. That is part of the deal here. That's why we're not taking any rest. We want to keep you building up as we go through our sets. So we'll go right back into this first one, staggered stance deadlifts. And a reminder that if you do find one side is a lot stronger than the other, then maybe this is your time to think about starting on that less strong side so that we can not promote the muscle imbalance that we have. And it's always these single leg exercises, typically, that we feel that difference going on. There you go. or you might not be feeling it at all, in which case it does not matter which side you start with. All right, so we'll keep working through these. 12 and 12. 10 squats. We have this one and one more set after this. Okay, so again, making sure that we're moving through the hips. The single leg deadlift we should be feeling in the glutes as well as in that hamstring of the standing leg, down the back of the leg. Both of those places. Working a lot on this one. Plug us in. Perfect. Okay. So we'll work through the deadlifts. And we have our step up squats. Awesome. So we'll make sure in these ones that we're standing all the way up between our reps. We sit down to 90 degrees and then we come up to the very top. We're not staying in this kind of squatting position the whole time. Sometimes because we're sort of traveling in this one, you might feel inclined to do so, but we'll remember that we're still wanting to follow through in that squat. So coming all the way up. And we go down and all the way up. There you go. Woohoo! Okay, we have one more round, about 3 minutes to finish this last round, and then we are moving on to part 2 of our strength. Yes. Okay, so we'll get the squats done, and right away, we shall go into our final set of this staggered single deadlift. Enjoying not having to balance for one more set. Awesome. Perfect. Okay. Let's get 12 and 12, finishing strong. Keeping it even on both sides, taking your sweet time with these ones. Especially on the squats. Okay, again, because most of us, we only have that set of dumbbells or limited set. We want to make this final set a bit more challenging without adding anything else. If we slow the whole set down, take a little bit more time to descend into that squat every rep, because we're only doing 10, it's going to make you feel maybe like you just did grab something a little heavier, but you actually didn't. You're just going a little slower. Making your leg muscles more tired within that set. All right, so we'll finish up. We have about 1 minute, just under that, to get this part done before we are going to move on to the next part. Okay. Alrighty, nice work, my friends. So we'll finish up this last set, the squats. There we go, 10 of them. Once you are done, you can grab some water. Some of us might be done a little sooner, take a little longer. And I'll give you about 30 seconds to finish those squats. As you are coming to an end, the next part we are going to do is going to use this towel sliding on the floor. If you have it, of course, if you do not have that as an option, I got you with a non-towel sliding option. If you're working on carpet or something like that, it doesn't really work so well or at all, unless you are creative and you have something that slides. Okay, so again, we'll rest a little bit once we're finished and tune in to hear what's happening for the next part. So again, we're going to be sliding around a little bit here with a slider reverse lunge. So I'm going to be using the towel, just fold it up into this square right here. I'm going to put it underneath one of my feet, make sure I have some space behind me. I'm not going to kick anything. And then we're going down into that lunge and pulling ourselves up to the top. So, and if you don't have this towel, no big deal. What you're going to do instead is back into the lunge, but you have to still think about pulling yourself up So we're not using that back leg to push. We want to kind of keel it back there and make ourselves lift up using only that front leg. Okay, so it's even more so important that you have to think about that. You don't have this towel sliding situation, because when you have this, you cannot push up with your back foot or else you'll just slide out, which is why we're using it. Okay, so we're going to be working with these, holding on to our weights once again in that front loaded position here. So I'm going to use both my dumbbells to make this 16-pound weight right here. And again, we're going down, and then we're going to pull ourselves up to the top. We want that slider foot to come forward and slightly in front of that standing leg. And again, 90 degrees at both of our knees. So we're going to follow through doing 15 of these on each side. So you can start your first set. If your weights are on the heavy side or just feeling really heavy for this one, you can put one down and just hold a single weight. And if you have no weights at all, you can always band up. So put a band underneath your foot. Okay, and then we can go through our set of 15 of these slider lunges. There you go. Woo! These ones kind of get the heart rate up there a little bit as well. All right, so we are going to superset this. I'll let you finish up this first set before we talk about our second exercise that we're doing with this one. There you go. 15. Awesome. Okay, so we'll get that going on both sides. Once you're done, we're going to do a sumo straight leg deadlift with this one. So if you're still working on your second leg, just keep going, okay? Just watch me up here. But as you do finish up, we're going to stand wider than our hips with our toes angled out to the sides. We want our weights in front of us, dumbbells preferably, soft knees, and we're going to work with that hip hinge that we have been practicing oh so much. And we're going to go through our straight leg deadlift in sumo stance position. So oftentimes, most of the time when we do this one, we're in our narrow stance. By having this wider with the toes out position, we're recruiting more through the sides and the back of our hips, rather than this position, which is a little bit more hamstring focused. So that's probably going to feel a little bit more work in the glutes. So we'll start here. We're doing 15 on these ones as well. And try and keep the legs straight, but the knees soft. We don't want to completely lock out our legs. We want a soft knee, and then we go through until we feel that stretch at the bottom. And we squeeze our butt to pull ourselves up. So we'll try to be very active in the glutes and the back side, and actually feel that contraction happening before you just stand up to the top. 15. Oh yeah. All right, so the good news is, about this superset, so we're only doing 2 more sets to make it 3 rounds total, okay? So we're gonna finish up this one here, sumos, and then get a couple of deep breaths, but there's no prescribed rest. So we'll try to go right from this one into our slider front loaded lunges, okay? Again, 15 and 15. Everything going here, not give ourselves any time to think about this. We'll just try to go right into the next set. Again, we did that first one, and then we need 2 more. Yes. This is the last part of our strength. So after this, we're going into a Swante conditioning circuit. So we'll enjoy this nice, slow-paced stuff while it lasts. The exercises themselves, not the rest, because there really is none. Okay. So we'll get going here. Again, second set of our lunges. Back into these ones. And trying to pull ourselves up to the top using that front leg as much as we can. 15. Oh yeah, get a nice high rep range on both of these. Perfect. Okay, so we'll work through these ones. Awesome. Finishing strong. On the lunges, we'll try to keep all of our reps as even as possible. I always kind of talk about my little trick of sort of breaking up our sets of 15 into smaller sets of like doing like 5, 5, and 5, or like 10 and then 5 after. And that's just counting. It's a little counting technique you can think about rather than counting up to 15. Sometimes it just helps us mentally get through these higher rep sets because they're not only exhausting on our body, they also are kind of exhausting to count as well. So we're doing them for a reason. We're up in this high rep range to really challenge the strength endurance, which you're probably feeling because your legs, your glutes are probably burning a lot by the end of those lunges. They should be. All right, so we'll go into the deadlifts. If you're not feeling them in the first one, you definitely should in the second one, regardless of what you're holding in your hands, okay? Because again, you're probably stuck with, a lighter weight than you could probably do on this one. So we really have to be conscious and aware that we're getting that contraction to pull ourselves up and out of that deadlift. If you're just going up and down and kind of bending down, first of all, you might accidentally be moving through your back, but you're actually not going to get that same benefit as someone who's that stretch. And then we squeeze and we pull up to the top. So you're feeling this all tense, the entire set. It never goes loose until you're done. All 15. Woo! All right, then we have one more round. Not too bad, right? No. Just kidding. It is a burner, but we're going to do one more round. Get a very quick sip of water if you need it. And then we'll try to get going in those lunges of the last set of these 2. Let's do it. Okay, so strong finish. I'm trying to take our time with these ones, especially in that last set of those deadlifts. We want to make this last set a bit harder. We can take more time to get to the bottom. So think about counting maybe 3 to 4 seconds on the way down, just finding a nice rhythm with your breath. And that's going to make this a lot harder than you just going up and down. Just something that you may or may not need to think about on the last set. Okay. So while you guys finish up here, I am going to make sure we have a setup timer for our last part, which is the sweaty part. Okay. Perfect. And 16. Okay, so we will finish up our sumo, RDLs, Romanian deadlifts, or straight leg deadlifts. Sometimes you may hear me call these Romanian deadlifts or straight leg deadlifts. Same, just a different name for them. All right, so we'll finish up here. We have about 2 minutes to get this done before we are going to be moving on to our final part, the conditioning, which takes us 12 minutes. So we have some time before we really need to start. So once you're finished this last set of deadlifts, we're going to rest a little bit. Okay, give our legs maybe a minute, maybe 2 to just rest because we have not had much, if any, time for that yet. And we will be done with strength after this. These last 4 exercises are all about getting your heart rate up, getting your conditioning, your cardio going. Okay. So what we're going to do here, I'm going to set my mat back up. We are, as you're finishing up, and I'm going to kind of talk about the equipment that we need. We're going to need our dumbbells and or our bands if we have them. We're also going to be doing one exercise using this towel, again, if we have it. If not, I'm going to talk about what you're going to do right now. So for this next one here, we want to open up the towel so that it's a little longer so that we can put both of our feet beside each other on it. So rather than having it sort of in a square like this, I'm just going to open it up. You can even go long if you wanted to. Mine's good doubled up here like this. And then we also want some space. So I'm going to show you guys this one. Because of my setup here, I'm going to lay my mat back out because I'll need it out for the next 3. But for this first one here, which I would probably just kind of do out of the screen, we're going to be going down into a plank position with our feet on the slider like this. And we're going to try to pull in to 90 degrees and then push back out into the plank. We're working with an interval of 45 seconds on with a 15-second time to switch between our 4 exercises that we're doing. So this is the first one. Now again, if you don't have the towel or if you try this one and your towel does not slide very well or too much or whatever it is, you can always do it without the towel. Plank, step in to that off knee, kind of 90 degrees, and then back out into the plank. So rather than sliding your feet, you're going to step your feet, okay? So this is going to be our first one that we are doing. We're going to start here. I'm going to press start on the timer, starting in about 15 seconds. Hold on. But I'll show you the other 3 movements on that 15-second interval between our rounds, okay? So I want you to get yourself set up for this. We are going to be doing 3 sets total of these. So you're going to have to do this 3 times, and again, we'll have 3 other movements going on with this plank pull-in, which, yes, there's a bit of sneaky core work, which is not going to feel so sneaky. We're going to feel a lot going on in there. All right, so get yourself set up, starting in about 5 seconds, 45 seconds on the clock. 3, 2, 1, and let's go. Very subtle beat, but it was there. I've turned up for the next one. Okay, so we can plank, get stepping or sliding in and out, working through, trying to keep as much control as possible. So our hips aren't lifting into the air, we're falling out of that plank. Halfway there. 20 seconds left. Very nice. Awesome. Okay, so breathe through these ones. Finishing strong on this first set. Oh yeah. It's our strongest set. 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. And time. Very nice. Okay, stand on up. Next one, we're going to need the length of our mat. Although you could just use your floor, you don't need the length of the mat. But we have our split jumps. We're going to be working with our lateral split jumps. So however much space you have, we're going to use it all. Timer has started, so let's go. We're trying to move the arms and the legs opposites together. We can have straight arms or we can have bent arms. It doesn't matter, but I want you moving them with the legs. And if you don't have much room, just stay in one place. But if you do, I want you traveling sideways, laterally, right and left. We like to always get the brain going with that body. 15 seconds left. So we'll try to move our feet faster, our hands faster. We want to keep our weight centered so that everything is moving at once, the legs and our arms. 5 seconds. 3, 2, and all right. Third one, we're going to grab onto our dumbbells. So we're going to go up in this position here, squat stance. We're doing a thruster. So we squat and we press up over our head. 45 seconds. Let's go. So if you do not have dumbbells, you can grab a band in your hands. Okay, you can grab nothing, just raise the roof with your hand. Most important is that you're moving out of that squat over your head the whole entire time. 25 seconds left. So think about using the legs. We want to start pushing the weights up at the bottom so that we can get as much momentum from the legs as possible. We don't have to like muscle up those weights at the top. We're not worried about doing shoulder press. We did lots of those yesterday. We're trying to get the heart rate up. So working everything together, lower body and upper. 3, 2, 1, and time. Okay, nice work. We have our very final one, which is going to be our lateral ski hops. So we're going to make sure that we have some space. I'm going to move these dumbbells out of the way. Narrow stance in the feet, arms down, jumping up and catching ourselves in that squat. 2 feet leave, 2 feet land. Trying to get myself straight at the top. So if you don't jump, you go up on the toes, up on the toes. Okay, you can stay in one place and just work through this one as quickly, as explosively as you can. 25 seconds left, let's go. Leg burner. There you go. Okay, so breathe through this. 10 seconds left. You got this. Finishing strong. Last 2, 3, 2, 1, and time. Okay, that was our first round. All right, we have 2 more. Remember, I said 3 total. So we're done our first one. We're going to go back to our first exercise, which was our pull-ins with a towel or that plank to 90 degrees. Let's go. Timer has started. So have you. Let's do it. 30 seconds left. There you go. So again, with this one here, we want control over anything else, especially because we're involving our core and ab muscles. We don't want to necessarily rush this one too much and risk our hips falling kind of lower than the plank or lifting higher than the plank. And that's part of the challenge. Let's get it. 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Okay, good job. Very nice. Split jumps. So we'll get ourselves set up here. Opposite arm, opposite leg. Deep breath. 3, 2, and let's go. Split jumps. Now this one can be very easy, right? You can just kind of do your thing and take your time, but it can also be really hard if you are intentionally trying to move faster. Your feet move faster, your arms have to move faster. And yeah, that's the hard part, to keep the arms, keeping up with the legs. So we'll try to lock that in here. 20 seconds left. And if you have to kind of slow down a bit, find that coordination, opposites, and then you can build back up and find that fast pace, as fast as you can go. 10 seconds, I want a little more, let's get it. A little quicker in the feet, in the hands. 3, 2, 1. Nice work. Always surprised at how we feel after we do those split jumps. Because at first, maybe they are, getting out the hardest. Thrusters. So we're going to grab onto our weights. Exhale. Push up with the breath, with the arms, with the legs. And try to work through our set. Let's do it. There you go. Okay, so again, second last time you're here. 30 seconds left. Pushing through this one. If you're feeling a little residual leftover stuff in the shoulders and upper body from yesterday, that's why it's most important that we use the legs. Think about they're your power. They are what is pushing those weights over your head. 10 seconds left. You got this. Yes. 3, 2, 1. Okay, we'll put the dumbbells down. Put them aside. We have our last one, those ski hops. So if your legs are gassed, then we can think about kind of sitting a little bit higher, more in this deadlift position as we go through our set. But if you want more work in the legs, if you want to make this one harder, we sit lower and we catch ourselves lower as we go through our hops. Yeah, you're going to feel, you can just imagine what you're going to feel. You can try it out for yourself. It is going to get you going a lot more than not sitting that low. 20 seconds left. Okay, and again, you're in control. So we're trying to find a level that we can consistently do without having to stop. 15 seconds left. Whether that's having to maybe not sit so low, I prefer that over you sitting low and having to again, stop because your legs are on fire. 3, 2, 1, and time. Okay, my friends, here we are. The final set. Last one. Back down in that plank. Potentially the hardest one, this plank, especially with that towel. I mean, we're feeling the legs, the core. Let's go. This is our last set. Last chance with these ones. Okay, so we're going to try to find a pace that you can maintain this entire time. And breathe. You need that reminder down there in that plank. It'll be very easy to hold our breath. 25 seconds left. There you are. Okay, so do not give up. Whatever you do, stay in the plank. Even if you're not moving, it's okay. Just hold that plank position. Maybe you can move 1 or 2 more times. 10 seconds left, or just stay there. That's okay too. But do not touch those knees down. Not yet. 3, 2, 1. Now you can touch those knees down. Okay, standing up, split jumps. Last set of all of these. This one. So I want the strongest set. Yeah, your body knows what's going on. It's already done this twice. So now is our time to shine, to push ourselves, to try to get everything moving faster. Okay, and this is completely on you. I mean, I can tell you this 100 times all day, every day, but it comes down to you actually doing it and you actually trying to get yourself moving quicker. Maybe tap into that really uncomfortable feeling, you know, the one I'm talking about, where you really want to stop, things are burning, your heart rate's going like crazy, but that is the most important time for you to keep going. 20 seconds left. In fact, you have to push harder, maybe just to even maintain what you're doing. You got this though. 10 more seconds. It's going to go so fast. Let's just try to bring it up, pick up the pace. 3, 2, 1. Split jumps done. All right, grab onto your dumbbells. We're going to do our thrusters. Finishing off these ones, the burning leg ski hops, and then we are done. Okay, we'll grab onto those dumbbells. Let's go. Okay, so let's try to work through these ones. Same idea here, especially when we have weight involved, going over our head. We're really going to have to pace ourselves and again, work through some stuff that does not feel so good, especially now. We're approaching the halfway point. So we'll try to, again, move quicker, be more powerful coming out of the bottom. You can take a little bit more time coming down, but on the way up, we want to be fast. Last chance. Let's go. 5 seconds left. 3, 2, 1. Okay, weights down. Yes, make sure they are up of the way. We're going to finish off with the last one. Maybe the hardest, if your legs are really feeling. We have our lateral ski hops. Let's go. Okay, so if you're not going to make it, we'll try to hold down here. Take a breath and keep working, okay? Over you standing up, contemplating your life. You'll have lots of time to do that when you're finished this exercise in 20 seconds. So I want you to find something that you can keep doing, okay? Push yourself through this. You know this is your last one. You know you're going to feel way better post-session and this weekend even if you know you gave this all that you got. 10 seconds left. This is it. Come on now. 3, 2, 1. And you, my friends, are finished our sweating conditioning circuit. Okay, so I have a 2-minute timer set, and all I want you to do is rest. Probably sounds pretty good right about now. I'm feeling like I need some rest, and I'm just explaining and showing you guys these movements, so I know how you're feeling. So we're going to take some time right now to move around our space. Okay, actually move, walk around. Take those deep breaths, the ones that go into our belly, not into our chest, okay? You'll feel the difference. Help bring your heart rate down a lot more effectively than you shallow breathing into your chest. So we'll try to find that. We're going to take again another minute here. You might even need a little bit more time, and that's completely fine. We're going to talk about 2 stretches that I would like you to do, but we're not going to do them yet, okay? Because we're probably all feeling very hot and heavy. So we're going to take some time to just cool down, breathe, drink our water, get that H2O in, and then get that O2 in, that oxygen with our nice deep breaths, okay? When we are feeling ready, we are going to start off with a stretch for the back of our hips, our glutes. Now we're going to be doing a wall-assisted glute stretch. We still have time on the timer, about 30 seconds. Okay, and again, you might need a bit more time, then that's completely fine. But as soon as you feel okay, like you could answer a question or hold down a conversation without, having to actually have, then you can come on down and join me on the floor, preferably somewhere where you have a wall or something sturdy like a bookcase here that we can put our foot on with our nice indoor clean shoes. Sorry, Mom, just kidding. They're clean. So then we'll take our heel, we'll put it on top of this knee here, and right away we should be feeling a nice stretch down the back of the hip, the glute. If we're not feeling it, you can release that. That was our 2-minute timer. So again, if you want to join me or take another minute, that's okay. But if you want a deeper stretch, we'll scooch closer to the wall and see if that puts us into, again, that stretch feeling on the hip. If you don't have a wall, or if you simply don't want to put your feet on the wall, I get it. What you can do is come away from the wall, of course, and then reach through and pull that leg in rather than having that foot on the wall. But I like this one because it's a little bit more lazy. You can kind of just relax into it. You don't have to actively pull in your leg. And so we can just focus more on feeling that stretch and, again, taking those nice calming deep breaths. So we're going to come down here, take about 10 inhale exhales in this stretch. Inhale, we're trying to get all the air we can in. And then we exhale and we kind of sink and feel that stretch getting a bit more comfortable. Okay, so take your time with this. We're going to take slow, controlled breaths in and out. We're not on a timer. We're just going to go through, again, those 10 cycles of inhale, exhale. And that is completely up to you. So again, if you're still kind of cooling down, when you're good, you come down here, get yourself in this position, go through your 10 breaths. Okay, and again, if you want a deeper stretch, anytime, even if you're like halfway through your breathing, we can scooch in a little bit closer to that wall, and that should get you stretching a little bit more. And we should feel tension, not pain. So if the stretch is like so deep that you're feeling like you're gonna pull something, let's back off a little bit. So we'll come out of that one and we'll switch sides, and taking our time, going through our breaths at our own pace, and then we'll switch over to the other side. Now, especially with this stretch, you might feel one side's a little tighter, a little looser than the other. We're gonna work with tension, okay? So again, we'll work with that tense feeling, whether you have to move a little closer, a little further. And then again, we will go through our 10 inhale, exhale breaths in this glute stretching position. Okay, so I'll give you about 30 more seconds to take your sweet time with this stretch. Maybe just starting it, wherever you are is all good. We're gonna hold this here. And this one always feels very nice after all the leg work that we do. So today we're just gonna do one set of this stretch, and then I'm gonna show you one more after this and do it together with you. If you feel like you're really tight in this position, feel free, come back here, maybe make yourself another 5 or 10 minutes of your day to come and go through a few more stretches. Okay, so we'll come out of this one if you joined me when we started, and once you're finished your 10 breaths. And then the last one that we are going to do is for the hip flexors, because we did a lot of core work, sneaky core work, as well as work to work the front of the legs and the hips. So we will flip around into this half kneeling position. And if your mat is pretty skinny and flimsy like mine, I'm going to double it up so my kneecap has a little bit more support. And then we'll make sure that we are squeezing our nice opening stretch down the front. If we want more, then reach our arm over our head like this. What we're going to do here is hold this, again, counting out inhale, exhales, 10 of them. Same thing, trying to fill the lungs, and then exhale and sink into that stretch a little bit deeper. So some of us, I don't need to lift my arm. I feel this right away without lifting the arm. But if you're a little bit looser in the hip, you might need to lift up the arm in order to feel that same stretch in the hip. If you are not so tight like I am, I'm really tight of hips. Okay, so we're gonna hold this here. Once we're finished our 10 breaths, I want you to stay on this side. We're going to bring both hands down onto the floor inside this foot here, and then we'll open up towards that knee, and this is going to involve our mid-back, our lower back, a little bit through the shoulders, and we'll hold this here for just about 10 seconds. We'll just count to 10 in our head, feel that nice stretch, and try to keep the breath flowing. And then once we're finished our 10 seconds, we'll come back up and we will switch sides. So I'm going to switch sides and go back into the hip flexor to start. So again, make sure we're feeling the front of the hip, whatever we need to do in order to feel that. And then we will hold this here, breathing into the stretch. So this is, again, a very important one to do if you are feel like you're tight in the hips, or if you suffer from low back pain like me, that's kind of reoccurring, or low back tightness. If you ever feel sort of tight in your low back, oftentimes these guys are the culprit, the hip flexors that run down the front of the hip. So this is a really good one to do. And if you are feeling really tight, then I would recommend maybe coming back and doing one more set. So we'll finish this off again with coming down to the floor, exhaling, opening up. Oh, this one feels so good. Through the back, maybe a bit in the hip, shoulder, and we will breathe into this one. Count to 10 in our head, and watch it clock for 10 seconds. And slowly close that. Come out of this one because we are done, my friends. Nice work. So thank you so much. Another week of training in the books. We are finished on this Friday. Hopefully you feel good. Probably feeling quite worked after that one. Thank you, Dave, for hanging out in the Zoom room. Have a great weekend, and I will see you next week. And my replay watchers. Hopefully you guys also feel good and you made it through that session today. Well, the stretching was a nice finish. We are done, and again, if you do feel good, then drop a comment below so that I know you do and I know you were here, and I will also see y'all next week. Okay, bye.